and enjoying his anniversary trip with his wife. Uh, we know that we miss him really badly, and we can't wait for him to be back next week. But taking his place, he said, "I need a tag in." And the guy, he came through, gave him the hot tag, and he's here tonight. It is Señor October. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing wonderful, Professor. I'm just getting some stretches in right before we jump off here, so I'm feeling good, though.
Excellent. That sounds like some Michael Phelping over there.
You know it, man. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
ready to do this, man. I'm really looking forward to this tonight. Being very humbled to be his substitute, and I just hope I can do as good a job as he does.
Well, as long as you can make a lot of puns and for some reason make at least five more nicknames for me, I think you'll be fine.
Oh, wonderful. All right, this should be a good show then.
But if we're ready,
This
let's
should,
get straight into it. The Houston Rockets was able to close out the Oklahoma City Thunder last night in a,
oof.
I mean, was it a nail biter? Was it just a, grind fest? I mean, I don't know how to describe the game. I already have what I need to say about certain players on the losing team and about the media, but I'm gonna let you say what you need to say first.
That was like waiting for you were waiting for something to happen that just never did. I mean, I was waiting for everybody else besides Russell Westbrook to wake up, and that was actually painful to watch. That fourth quarter, I mean, I didn't have a dog in the fight, but it was really painful to watch. I mean, just the body language of Oklahoma City. Not even like at the very end, but like I'm talking like with 3 or 4 minutes left, the body language was really poor.
It was.
And I mean, they look like midway through the fourth quarter, they just did not want to be on the floor. That's exactly what it looked like.
I mean, it just felt like they, you know, to use a coin of phrase, put their tails between their legs and just wanted to go home.
Yeah, and that was behavior more suited for a team that's like down 20, not a team that was only down like 10 or 8. I mean, it was really weird because you were just waiting for that moment. And they to me the turning point of that, I don't want to say the whole game because that's a little overdramatic, but the fourth quarter was, I mean, how many offensive rebounds did they have in that one possession? And
A lot.
they couldn't get a bucket. You were waiting for it to go down, and every shot they threw up, it was like there was a force field around the rim. It was unbelievable, and it was almost like right after that, Houston just they just said, all right, that's it. You guys have completely, whatever gas you had is completely just gone. I mean, I've never seen a team. I mean, that I can remember. I mean, I could be wrong, but a team in an elimination game such as that just forget not perform, just not show up in the quarter. I mean, but the first 3 quarters were pretty entertaining actually, and it was a back and forth game. But that fourth quarter, I mean, it was actually kind of like sad. I mean, to see Westbrook out there for 45 minutes, and the rest of his team just completely looked disinterested. I mean, I really felt bad for him. I really did.
I mean, I felt bad for him, but then I stopped feeling bad for him because I mean, they had a whole season to work all this stuff out. I mentioned this on
Absolutely.
Facebook and even on Twitter that the things that people are seeing now are things that I've seen all season long that no one wishes to acknowledge until
Right.
it's like right there in their faces on during an elimination game where you see Taj Gibson going 4 for 7. He should still get the rock. Steven Adams 3 for 4. He should still be getting the rock. Victor Oladipo's 4 for 17, who's supposed to be the second leading scorer on the team. Andre Roberson, poor Andre Roberson,
Oh, I know.
poor this guy. I mean, has anyone checked up on him? Like,
Yeah, I
we,
mean,
we, we might need to
seriously.
put a suicide watch on him real quick because I mean he might need it.
Uh, the whole thing was just painful to watch. I mean, it really was. But I mean, just to piggyback on what you said, that's true in any sport. During the regular season, you can hide the flaws that your team have. You can get on You can get on a run, you can get on a hot win streak, and lose a few games here and there. But if your stars really perform well, you can kind of cover up the glaring deficiencies. But you're right, in the playoffs, that's when it's there. That's when you can't mask it anymore. It's there for everyone to see. And like you said, these have been glaring problems that Oklahoma City has had all season and for multiple years. And that's when you're going to get exposed. You're going to get exposed when it matters most.
Yes. The biggest thing, and I read this in an article today, was there was just no more trust. Westbrook didn't trust
Mm.
his teammates.
And that was clearly evident. I mean, at one point, he just stopped passing to anybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
his teammates would start passing the ball, and then you would just see it would stop with him. He wouldn't look anybody off. He wouldn't just. It's like, okay, I got the ball, I'm going to shoot. I mean, what did he finish with? He finished with like 47 points or something.
He
It was
finished with
absurd.
47 points. He shot 44% from the field, 27% from three, and an abysmal
But
70% from the charity stripe.
oh,
But
the
don't worry
the
though, because
foul shooting.
he
Oh,
got 11 rebounds though and 9 assists. Oh goodness, he almost got a triple double. Like I called out TNT as soon as this game was over because they sat there and even before they even talked about the Rockets win, which was well deserved. The first thing they talked about was Russell Westbrook historic season, triple doubles. Oh, he almost got a
yeah.
triple double. Oh wait, by the way, the Rockets won the game too.
That's to be honest with you, that's when I turned the post game off. I was like, all right, if this is the whole post game, and you're basically gonna gloss over the fact that the Rockets outperformed OKC in just about every statistical category, I'm not listening to this.
Exactly.
If it's just going to be a Westbrook love fest, I have no hate on him. Like I got no beef with him. I think he's probably one of the best all around players we've seen in the modern NBA. But at the same time, I'm not gonna hold him up on a pedestal when the entire Rockets team outperformed him and his entire team that didn't show up. I'm just
Absolutely.
not going to do that.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I mean, I'm over here just looking at, news article headlines. Oh, the Rockets survived the Russell Westbrook, almost triple double and stuff like that. Like, come on, why you have to sit there and act like that? Like, how
Yeah,
come you
like
can't just
completely just
say, the Houston Rockets, played a complete game and, defeated the OKC Thunder?
right, completely gloss over the fact that OKC only won one game in the entire
One
series.
game throughout the whole season. That's it. One game. Oh well, they was leading from these other games. It doesn't matter during the game.
No,
What matters is at the end of the game, whether you win it or you lose it. And guess what? They lost it. They lost it 4 times, and that's why they're going fishing.
yep, start the boat up. Absolutely. Growing up a Yankee and a Devils fan, I mean, I grew up with the strict adage that was set forth by both teams where if you don't win the championship, the season's a
The
complete
season's a
failure.
waste. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, take
I
that
mean,
as a Knicks fan who's been nothing but failures since the 70s.
right. I mean, Steinbrenner ran the Yankees that way, and Lou Lamoriello ran the Devils that way. If you
Absolutely.
didn't win the Stanley Cup or the World Series, well, what was the point of playing?
There isn't.
So the
There's
fact
no
that
participation awards, and I, hashtag that throughout the entire night. There should be no participation awards. Oh well, blah blah blah. Oh, what was Russell Westbrook? No, no,
no, no,
they
absolutely
lost.
not.
They're the losers.
Uh,
Do
but I
you do
mean,
that for every other team? No, you don't do that for every single other team.
isn't that just evident of our culture? I mean, you can go to a little league game, and no matter who wins or loses, everybody's getting a trophy at the end of the game.
Oh, and
I
that's
mean,
what Qmart was talking about a few weeks ago. Shout out to Qmart, by the way, because he had reads. He
mhm,
said Russell Westbrook was not going to be in the playoffs past the 28th of this month, and he was pretty much spot on. Shout outs to
prophetic,
him.
absolutely.
But I mean, he mentioned about just how this generation is. He said is the millennium gap that we have, where
Hmm.
everyone's looking at things that's like it's for me. It starts to get to the point to where it starts to make me sick,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
that's usually a bad sign
Yeah,
because I like Russell
you have a
Westbrook.
pretty long patience.
Because I really like Russell Westbrook. I liked what he did during the season. I like the historical aspect. But that's where the
Com-
likeness
completely agree.
ends.
Completely agree.
After that, you have to win games. Oh, well, blah, blah, blah. No, you have to win games.
Yeah,
Like Coach
and
Herman said, you play to win game. You don't play for just stats.
right, and that's what it comes down to. It's great for your Hall of Fame plaque, that you have all those stats behind you. But if you ask me, I'd rather be somebody that was, average to an above average player, was known as a great teammate, but I finished with 4 or 5 championships instead of, oh yeah, look at all these stats that he has. Look at he has the most this, the most that, the most assists, the most points. How many championships did he win? Oh, he didn't win a day. He didn't win one, but and to a lot
That
of
pales in
people,
comparison.
exactly, but to a lot of people, it just depends on the individual. To a lot of people, the individual stats matter more. To them, that's their trophy. To them, that is their Stanley Cup, their Commissioner's Trophy, their Vince Lombardi Trophy. That's it for them. They don't need one for the whole team. If it's about them, then it's truly about them.
Yeah, but even due to our NBA Hall of Fame right now, who has, insane numbers, won't sit there and go, I'm just glad I got the numbers. No, you're going to say, I really just wanted that championship. Like, I really
And to
don't
be
care about these numbers.
right, and to be honest with you, that's why you play the sport for. You play the sport to win championships.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. But no one wants to listen to me, Senor October. They don't listen to
Look.
me because they think that we're haters.
Oh, and trust me, that's the other thing. I hate that. If you disagree with anybody or anything, you're just labeled as a hater. All of a sudden, smart dialogue and a healthy debate go out the window. So I completely agree with you.
Like, I
Don't worry.
sat there.
Don't worry. I'm in your corner.
The,
Don't
the,
worry.
the, the funniest part is, let me just, we're going to continue on with the other playoff series, but the funniest thing is, the whole Westbrook should be MVP thing and blah, blah, blah. I put up graphs. I built numbers. I showed the stats, hashtag take that for data,
All day.
to show how the stats between the two teams, the Rockets and the Thunder, side by side without their superstar. So the stats do not show Russell Westbrook. It does not show James Harden. Side by side. Guess who dominated all of the major categories?
Please enlighten me.
The Houston Rockets did.
There you go.
In fact,
There it is.
the only thing that the Thunder exceeded were the number of attempts for shots and the lower percentages for like
Wow.
the different shooting percentages and stuff. Like personal fouls, really don't care too much about that. But turnovers, yeah, that's a pretty good margin too.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it just showed how much they relied heavily on Russ's ability. Whereas for the
Yep.
Rockets, everyone was able to step up. And Harden mentioned this in the post game. He's like, I'm just happy to be able to see. I'll say the quote right here. Here it is. We didn't particularly shoot the ball well, maybe one game out of 5 games, but we found other ways to win. Building from the summer, the togetherness that we were building, and then the trust that we built paid off. Everything isn't always going to be perfect. You got guys that step up and help you make big plays. Always have your back. Even nights when I'm struggling, I'm not really worried. I know I got a group of guys that trust in themselves and their leader to go out there and play the right way, and good things will happen.
Spoken like a true leader.
But
And that,
we're just
and,
haters
and
though.
oh yeah, we're completely hating. I mean, why would anybody agree with an articulate, well thought out, high basketball IQ comment like that? I mean, and he's right. I mean, and that's everything you want your leader to say. That's everything you want him to say right there. And
I
and
mean,
and and Harden plays for a team that doesn't get a lot of love compared to a lot of other teams in the NBA. But listen, he's a true leader, and the fact that his teammates rally around him and support him, and the fact that the coach trusts him, and that's what I
yes.
noticed with OKC. I did not see a lot of trust coming off the bench of his players, especially the poor mismanagement of the clock down the stretch. I mean, I was watching the game with like kind of my hands in the air, going, "All right, no one's gonna foul." Like, whatever happened to clock management? Like, so to me, that attitude of, all right, we're just going to wave the white flag, didn't just come out of the guys on the floor. It came from the bench
It did. It did.
because that was extremely mismanaged, and it's from the top down. I mean, and the lack of trust. Again, it doesn't just it can form in the clubhouse, but it has to get fostered by something. And it just seems that the leadership, the coaching staff, they didn't trust the guys that got them to this point. And that is a huge problem when you get to that point of the year, and because I don't think it's trust out of out of something malicious, but when you just don't think that they can get it done, even though these guys have gotten you this far, that is a glaring problem.
Absolutely. I mean, check out these stats. The Thunder were plus 11 in the 33 minutes with Westbrook on the court. The 6 minutes without Russell Westbrook on the court, they were minus 16. I believe they said that the team were minus 51 with Westbrook on the bench during this series.
Oh my goodness. I didn't get a chance to even see those stats today.
Westbrook last night, for those that don't know, shot 2 for 11 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. He was out of gas. I mean, even the commentators were saying it.
0 for 5 from 3, and in the fourth quarter of the entire series, he shot 14 for 49 for an abysmal 28.6%. But that's the MVP, though, ladies and gentlemen. That's your MVP.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, it's
Good job.
Yeah, I mean, you always hear about teams getting tough breaks, but then there's teams that didn't deserve, and OKC had no business going to the second round. Even if the series ended differently, and let's say it went, the full length, and they got in by a whisker, they would have gotten knocked out the second round. They just didn't belong on the field, on the court with Houston. I mean, not at all.
Nope. I mean, I got nothing else to say about this series. I mean, I think I felt like I said enough of what I said on Twitter and on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter at Ken86, the doctor at TL Double, and Señor October at JC Urbanus.
Yeah, it's I got nothing else to say. I mean, congratulations to Houston. I don't think that's been said enough, unfortunately, especially when it comes to the national media. Houston, like I've said, flies under the radar a lot in the national conversation compared to the other teams in the NBA. But congrats to them, and it's going to be exciting to see. It's going to be exciting. It's exciting to see teams that you usually don't see in the NBA playoffs finally starting to make names for themselves and stake their claim. It's really exciting to see, because that's been the knock on the NBA for a while. It just recycles the same teams year after year, and it's nice to see some new teams and some new stars starting to emerge.
Well, that's because of LeBron James.
Yeah.
And I went there, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't feel bad about it either.
You kind of just took me back a little bit, but I'd have to agree with you on that one.
Don't worry, Señor October, I got the facts.
Yeah. And then they're not alternative; they're actual facts.
Oh gosh, I can't believe you just went there. I'm so mad that you just said that. But let's talk real quick about the Rockets' potential opponents. Game 5 ended last night with the Spurs going up 3-2 against the Grizzlies, 116-103. What do you feel about this series? I mean, it seems like the Grizzlies always give the Spurs such a hard time in the playoffs.
It's fun to watch. I mean, for a team as clinical as San Antonio, and this is I don't root for either team, but just to see San Antonio get given fits by Memphis, again, another team that we're seeing that doesn't get a lot of play in the national media, but again is giving one of the stalwarts of the NBA, one of the winningest franchises in the league, a run for their money, and it's fun to see. It's really fun to see. These games that are like for example, Golden State and Portland, where it's just 4-0. Team just shows up and they're there for 4 days and they're out. This is fun. This is fun, and I was really rooting for Memphis to go up 3-2 just to see San Antonio actually sweat.
I mean, do you feel like the series is over or do you feel like this is gonna go 7? Because I think it's gonna go 7.
I agree with you. I can definitely see it going 7 games. I hope it does because to me it's been a fun series.
It has been a fun series.
So
Um,
and those fans in Memphis, I mean, they just they're going after it.
they literally embrace the coach. Like that's one
Yeah,
of the things that I
absolutely.
love. I love to see, the fan base not only just get behind the players, but also behind the coach. Like you don't see stuff like that anymore.
No, not at all. I completely agree. It's a
Like
throwback
we
to
we we
the way it
haven't
used to
seen
be.
that since when?
Oh, are you talking the NBA or just sports in general?
Just NBA. Like wouldn't it be Lawrence Frank when he was still with the Nets when they went to the finals?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, Lawrence Frank didn't take him to the finals, but you had Scott that took him to the finals.
Oh yeah, it was Barron. Yeah, Brian. Yeah, Scott. You're right.
But
You're right.
but Frank, yeah, they're the fans. And speaking as a Net fan, it was like that. We were a small fan base, so the fans got to get really up close with the team, and you got to. You're right. You're completely right. You got to definitely pull for the coach and for the players on like a personal level. With a small fan base, the relationship is different than, and in some respects better than a large fan base like the Lakers.
Yes.
It seems more personal. I don't want to get too savvy, but more family oriented. More like if you just went up to the coach and said, "Hey, how's it going?" He wouldn't like look for security to pull you away. You know what I mean?
Real quickly, the Washington Wizards are 9 seconds away from being 3-2 up on the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh
103-99
wow,
is the score.
very nice, very nice. And this is another hard fought series.
I believe I said this one was going to go to 7,
And you may be right, Professor. You may be right.
but I don't think it's going to go to 7. I don't know. It's so weird because, like, I mean, people say that Washington, just shoot themselves in the foot a lot, and like Atlanta, they don't realize that they're good, and they just lose themselves. Like, it's weird, but that's what
Well,
makes the
I don't know.
playoffs so much more fun because some calamity is gonna happen, and you're just waiting to
Well,
see who messes up the worst.
I just want to, in terms of the uniform matchup on the floor, Washington had it all over Atlanta. I'm digging these Wizards jerseys with the stars and stripes down the side. They're nice. The home
They are
whites, they're
nice. They
they're
are nice. I
they're
would definitely get myself one of those.
the
Probably.
Atlanta Hawks jerseys. They're kind of looking like they're ready to go take a jog at night with the fluorescent numbers. Not digging that so much, but then again, I'm a traditionalist, so.
Hilarious.
But yeah,
Let's
getting
talk
back
about
to
this last game from yesterday. Then we could talk about today's game and do a quick recap on the game that just went final, which is weird because of that. We'll get there in a second. The Jazz and the Clippers. The Jazz got Rudy Gobert back and squeaked away with a
hmm
4-point victory at Game 5.
again, impressive. Again, it's like the theme tonight. Another team that doesn't get a lot of play in national media, but they're going after it, and they're a fun team to watch.
I mean, Señor October, I got the doctor screaming in my ears. He want me to ask you this question. I
Go ahead.
understand. Are the Clippers done? Are like, is Doc Rivers done? Will he get let go? Because I think the Clippers. I've been saying this for the longest. I think the Clippers are probably the most overrated team in the NBA right now.
I don't know. It's hard because the Clippers are in a very unique situation. I mean, let me just address the point. I don't know. I think they might be. I don't see this going 7. I think Utah really can close it out. But in regards to Doc Rivers being done, they're in a tough position. They have the Lakers in a rare down period, and they've kind of had the run of the city. They without question don't have the larger fan base, but they've had the run of the city recently in terms of basketball. And if you blow the whole thing up, if you get rid of Doc Rivers and you make a few trades, because I've been hearing where it doesn't seem like LA, the Clippers even want Blake Griffin anymore. If you blow that up, and then the Lakers have started to kind of build slowly. They have the building blocks to get where they usually are, but they'll still take a few years. But I mean, do you blow it up? Do you just say, all right, that's it? I mean, that to me, that's the larger question. I think, regardless of how the series ends, because I don't think a lot of people really thought that Utah was going to give them a run for their money like they are.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a conversation that, regardless of how the series ends, that conversation needs to happen, because Doc Rivers should feel like he's on the hot seat, because this is a conversation again that it's not just you and I that are having. It's been a conversation that's been going around for a while now, and with the talk of Blake Griffin might be on his way out. It's things are not all okay on the red and blue side of the Staples Center.
I'm not gonna lie, I still feel like that Blake Griffin's completely overrated, and he just had too much hype because he was a dunker, and I feel like he still has the same broken jump shot that he always had.
Well, I didn't say there was a market for him. I just said the Clippers didn't want him.
I mean, in fact, I believe who said it? I think People Breakdown said it. The further away Blake Griffin is from the rim, the worse he is.
Oh yeah, that's how, to me that's how you neutralize him. I think that's clear if you watch 15 minutes of a Clippers game with him on the floor. You keep him away from the rim. He's almost neutralized. You keep him out of the low post. You're fine.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But let's talk about today's game, the one that just went final. So it's weird that the game came on so early.
It is weird because I was actually surprised when I was getting ESPN alerts on my phone, and I was, just about to leave work. I was like, huh?
Because I'm like, don't the games usually start now? That's kind of weird. That's not, you know, interesting.
Yeah, and admittedly, I didn't get to see much of it because I was coming home from work. But the little bit that I saw in the fourth quarter, Wizards played some really hard-nosed defense.
Once again, defense win championships.
Yep,
So those
always.
free throws, unless your name is Andre
Oh,
Roberson.
oh, man, no chill. Whew, no chill whatsoever. Yikes.
I've
But
been saying this.
some,
I've been saying that for the longest, man.
but sometimes the truth hurts.
Sometimes you need the truth in order to become better. I hope.
Yeah.
I seriously hope that he decides to go out and just shoot free throws the whole summer. Become a better shooter.
That's not a probably. He needs to.
Well, I mean, with how much money they gave him already, I mean, he doesn't need to do anything.
Oh, well, come on. I mean, with the paycheck that he's getting, if you can't hit free throws, I mean, then what are we doing here?
He basically just becomes a one-dimensional player like he always was, and they just move on with their lives, and hopefully they'll try to get themselves another shooter.
Well, if there's one thing the NBA doesn't need, it's one-dimensional players.
Yeah, well, he's definitely a one-dimensional player, so I'm challenging him
I mean,
to step it up.
I mean, the fact that you have centers now, like shout out to Brooke Lopez, that can freaking hit three-pointers now. I mean, it's one-dimensional will not get you far in this league now, especially how quickly the league is changing.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. But speaking of which, we have our nightcap game tonight because we had two sweeps already happen, so, two series are already over. We got the Bulls and Celtics coming up. Should actually be starting right now, actually.
Yeah, I have it on they're just showing the starting lineups.
Sweet. This was an interesting series because it looked like Boston was, ready to lay down. And Chicago let them come back.
Yeah, Boston got itself up off the mat, and this is another one that's been an entertaining series. It's been really entertaining, and obviously you have the tragic storyline of what's been happening with what Isaiah Thomas and his family have been going through.
Yeah.
But it's almost as if that hard-nosed grit that Isaiah has brought to the court. Well, he's always brought to the court, but it's almost like the team has rallied around him, I would say. and it's definitely going to be an interesting night. And see who the stars are going to be tonight,
Hmm.
because the stars haven't been typically who you'd consider to be, a star for either team. But it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be a fun one tonight. I think it's going to come down to the very end.
I think so too. I think this one probably going to be a solid. I don't know. Depends on who wins this game. I think it's going to be a solid 6.
Yeah, yeah. Did you happen to see the line today? I didn't get a chance to see what Vegas is giving either team.
Oh, I can find that out right now. Let's see. Let's see if they'll show me. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, today's podcast is brought to you by Meridian Hive Draft Mead. I actually had this when I went out to Austin this past weekend. Great
Mm.
time. Really delicious drink. They have several flavors, but the one that I'm drinking is Discovery, which is an orange blossom honey flavor.
Mm.
It is actually quite delicious. If
Oh,
you're out in Austin, be sure to pick one up at your local grocery store. If not, you can always order it online at www.meridianhive.com. They have other flavors as well too. Raspberry, which is a honey and blackberries flavor. I had a chance to try that one at Central Market. Shout out to Central Market. As well as a Haven flavor, which is honey, peach, and ginger. I didn't get a chance to taste this one. Dynamo, which is a honey and tart cherry. And Frontier, which is a honey and Meridian hops. So once again, that is Meridian Hive. Catch them out if you're in Austin. It is a locally brewed drink, and it is quite delicious.
one,
Peach.
also always support your local brewery, but two, oh, you make me want to go out to Austin right now.
I told you, man. You could have just came out here. You could
Yeah,
have just
once
came out
these,
here.
I got 3 weddings coming up. Once these weddings are done, listen, I will be making a beeline right out to your way.
Uh oh. Senor October and
Yep.
Senorita October.
She would love it. That's all. That's all we've been talking about is traveling. We're trying to do that more.
Yeah, yeah. Me and my missus is also just enjoying it more so. So it's quite a thing. Okay, so I can't find the Vegas odds, so I'll probably have to look it up on my phone.
Ah,
But
not a problem. It would just be interesting to see because I would definitely think it would be pretty close.
let me try again. Vegas NBA playoffs. But as I'm pulling this up, let's talk about the 2 sweeps that happened.
Mm-hmm. Golden State and Portland, and I was really hoping Portland was going to put up much more of a fight than they did. That
Yeah,
was
that
that was
fourth
really
game
disappointing.
was
Yeah.
Golden State, basically patented the term, "Dang, man, you scary."
Nice. I like that. Yeah. Again, Golden State looked like they were, like the Monstars in Space Jam. I mean, they just went out there and just bullied Portland right off the court.
The dream team, but we're the mean team.
Oh yeah, those were the days.
I mean,
But
it just one of those things. Just if Golden State wasn't a super team, it would have been a much more competitive series. But the fact that they're a super team, I mean, it's hard. It's hard for anyone to beat them.
oh yeah, Durant or no Durant, they're still a super team.
Exactly. They just do things, and I mean, it's hard. Like it's just unfair. That's all I can say. It's just unfair.
Very, very unfair.
All right, so I see Chicago plus 7.5, plus 8,
Oh,
plus 8, plus 7.5, plus 7.5.
oh, all right. I mean, that's what I would think. I would think it would be a little less than that, but
Mm.
okay.
Under 105 points being scored tonight.
Oh, I could. Yeah, I could. I would sign on for that. It's not
Make
bad.
sure, ladies and gentlemen, if you decide to bet on games, make sure you do it responsibly. We're not getting
Yes.
paid for that one, so there's no sponsor for that one.
No, no, no. I didn't get the paper today. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even said it. But always got to check because usually Vegas, most of the time they get it wrong, but sometimes they get it right, I think.
No, a lot of times Vegas get it right, especially
Yeah, yeah,
especially for the
yeah.
Super Bowl. So many
Yeah,
people
yeah.
lost so much money.
That becomes an art form.
Yes, yes. Remember, kids, winners don't throw away your mortgage.
Yeah, house is always more important than the short-term gain of quick cash.
There you go.
Always.
And the other sweep. I mean, do we really have to talk about it? Because it's LeBron James.
That's. I
Like
mean,
I felt
and
like I felt like I said this was gonna happen before the playoffs started. I felt like they sandbagged to get the number 2 seed to get the easier route.
yeah, 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 yeah. I agree with you on that one.
And I mean, I felt like I was right. They was gonna switch on a gear and beat the Pacers. The Pacers only had
Mm-hmm.
what 1.5 games where they actually showed they was competing. Paul George, and
Yeah,
I mentioned this on Twitter, he basically had his exit interview on Game 4
yeah.
because I think
That's a
he's
good
gonna
call.
leave, maybe
Yeah,
to LA, probably
yeah,
the
I do too.
Clippers. I don't know.
Yeah, I got a soft spot for the Pacers. I don't know why, but I always have one. Even being a Nets fan and being an old ABA rival, I have a soft spot for the Indiana Pacers and the city of Indianapolis as a whole. It is one of my favorite cities. But yeah, it's again it was clinical. You know,
It was. It just
the Cavs.
showed, what we all knew the Cavaliers should have been. That's why I said,
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like the fix was in when it came to the seedings.
yeah, oh yeah. You weren't the only person I heard say that.
I mean, other than that, though, we're not going to find out who's going to win any awards until pretty much after the season's over, which sucks.
Hmm.
Which makes me feel like that Westbrook is going to win it, despite the fact that he shouldn't be winning it.
Yeah,
Because, as the doctor said, he gotten the sympathy vote as soon as KD left. And I believe Big Will mentioned that on Facebook as well too. Not in those words, but I can't say that because this is a PG show.
yeah. Got to keep those ratings, right?
I mean, either that or I have Helen breathing down my neck. I really don't want that. I'm just trying to, keep it copacetic over here. I mean, how do you feel about that? How do you feel knowing that you're not going to find out who's going to win what awards until after the season's over? Do you feel like there might be some poll based off the playoffs now?
Say it again. You cut out at one point. Sorry.
Oh, I said, how do you feel about the awards happening after the season's over? And do you feel like the awards are now going to be is going to have some weight based off the playoffs now?
Sorry, Professor. You cut out. Say it again. How do you feel about the award? No, I'm sorry. You kept cutting out. How do I feel about the awards happening at the end of the season?
Yes, and do you feel like there's some weight now based off playoff performance for these awards?
Um, yeah, there is more weight behind it. I always consider the playoff a separate season, but I do think there's a little bit more weight behind it, and I think the players are going to be striving more, and maybe that's where the importance on stats is really coming from that we're seeing. If they
I
re-
wouldn't
if they're going to take the playoffs into account, then yeah.
I wouldn't be happy that he won because of how badly his team played. Like, I'll be so mad. I'll be so
you,
mad.
you and a lot of other basketball purists would be furious, including myself.
Oh my goodness. And mind you, no, Westbrook sympathizers mentioned said anything on my post.
None
Nothing.
at all, huh?
None. They were silent because they
Wow.
knew that Professor got reads.
All day.
So Chicago's up 12-6. 5:28 left in the first quarter. But we're gonna shift gears from the NBA over to the MLB, and we'll have Señor October provide his weekly update.
Well, it's been another very exciting week in baseball. Um, Again, we're on to the main course now. The table's been set, and we are happily feasting on our main course after the WBC and spring training appetizers. But it's been pretty good. Again, the surprise I think has been the Yankees. Um, the young guys have really been stepping up. They had a tough series against Pittsburgh, where they surprisingly lost 2 out of 3, and they're starting the back end of their road trip now with an always entertaining series in Boston against their longtime hated rival. And the season's been pretty good so far, and it's always good when you get Yankees and Red Sox together. That's always entertaining, and MLB, of course, always loves that matchup. I don't know if you, by any chance, had a chance to catch the the Cardinals Blue Jays game last night, but there was an imitation of Mr. Willie Mays Hayes from Major League last night.
Oh, I was able to catch that clip, and all I could think of when I was seeing that is sucker.
That was an extremely exciting game. Aside from that moment, that was a good seesaw battle back and forth.
Absolutely. I mean,
But
speaking
yeah,
of which, I wanted to get your thoughts because there are three teams with 14 wins. I wanted to get your thoughts on each of those three teams. Let's start off with the stay in the American League with the Houston Astros.
the Astros had an excellent season last year. Jose Altuve being the one of the driving forces of that team, and they're a force to be reckoned with. Everybody was kind of worried when they made that jump from the National League to an American League, where the American League is historically more offensive. But Houston's fit in nicely, and I think it's actually been a boon to them. But they're kind of just picking up right where they left off.
I think so
You know,
too. I
and
think
and
I think they still had a pretty solid, end the season last year. It just didn't work out for them.
they did. And for a franchise that's been really trying to build itself back up from the Killer Bees era, um, I think they should be proud, and it's definitely a step in the right direction. And Houston used to be one of those teams where you walked into the ballpark expecting a W, and now that is not the case.
No doubt.
And
Well,
they've made some upgrades to their ballpark down there at Minute Maid, which is a park I would love to check out. I mean, that park just looks really fun, especially with the train loaded with oranges on above the left field. The left field. It really looks like a cool place that I definitely want to check out.
doubt. Well, let's switch gears over to the National League and let's start off with the Nationals.
Again, they're picking up where they left off, but the question with the Nationals is everybody knows they're a great regular season team. The question is when they're going to get the job done in the postseason. And also if they're going to be able to hold on to Bryce Harper.
This is
And
true.
now all of a sudden, a perennial Met killer, Daniel Murphy, who the Mets, I'm sure, are kicking themselves for letting him go. He was becoming an offensive weapon playing out in Flushing, but the change of scenery to DC has just made him into a really really dangerous hitter. But yeah, the question that they're gonna have is not so much where they're gonna how they're gonna end the regular season is gonna be how they end the postseason. That's always been the disappointment for fans down there in the district. Is when is this team finally going to pay dividends? When is this team going to translate the success from the regular season to the postseason?
This is true. This is true.
Because
It's looking
I'm
like this for, many years now.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, the fans in DC, they've been, we have to remember this is not a team that's been there for that long of a period of time. These are the former Montreal Expos. And I think this team is really ready to get behind a winner. I mean, it's hard for me to remember off the top of my head the last time that a DC team won any sort of championship,
I
and
think it
the
was like the
Nationals.
Redskins, like way, way back.
Yeah, yeah, because the Capitals have never won one.
Nope.
Um, the Bullets, because definitely not the Wizards, but I don't think the Bullets, or maybe they won one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the
Um,
Bills won the championship.
oh yeah, okay, and then you have DC United and MLS, but MLS has really been only gaining steam in the last decade. So if you ask the casual DC sports fan, you know, uh, when was the last time your city won a championship? They may or may not mention DC United. But yeah, I mean, for the city of DC, the Nationals, they deserve a title. So I'm really hoping that they bring one home one day because those fans down there, they really go after it with this team, and it would be nice. It would be nice to see all the success that they've been having translate to the postseason.
No doubt. By the way, the Washington Bullets won in 1978 the NBA championship.
Oh, there you go.
And the Washington Redskins, looks like the last time they won it was 1992.
92. Okay, so fairly recent, but
But let's go to the next one. There's actually two teams in the same division, actually, the Rockies and the Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks, I think, are for real. The Diamondbacks have taken a lot of people by surprise, but they have some really good young hitters down there, and the Rockies, they're a really likable team. I was watching a lot of these guys during spring training, and they just seem like a team that's really gelling together nicely. And again, it's a long season. It's very exciting to see, but these are two teams historically that have a hard time putting it together over a long span. And it's as they always say about baseball, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
It
But
is.
the returns early are really good. And if you have an MLB extra innings package, they're definitely worth a look in when they're playing either on there or on the rare national broadcast. But the Diamondbacks, they look like their fundamentals are really sound. They have good pitching. The hitting is really dangerous. I think that took a lot of people by surprise, like the amount of good young hitters that they have down there.
Unfortunately, I'm not watching any Diamondbacks because I don't know. I no longer live in Arizona, so there we go.
Yeah, and I don't get to watch them much out here. I try and catch the highlights the next day, but they're definitely like a fun team to watch. Um, and it'll what I would really love to see is the Diamondbacks maybe get to the point where they can tangle with the Dodgers on a regular basis. I unfortunately have fond but painful memories of 2003 in the Arizona Diamondbacks and Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling. So, I took me a while to get over that one. But I'm sorry, not 2003. I correct myself. 2001, 2001 World Series, which actually was probably one of the best World Series I've ever watched, still to this day. That World Series was very intense, especially happening, unfortunately, after the tragic events of 9/11.
Yeah.
As a backdrop with the Yankees in there, but I mean the fact that every home team won that game, their game in their own home park, and it was just intense. I remember it just being very, very intense. So again, to see the Diamondbacks on get back to that level of playing would be absolutely terrific for the game.
Couldn't say it better myself, sir. But let's wind it down for this episode of Debates Among Friends tonight with Señor October's final word. Do you have any final thoughts for the people tonight?
Um, just really enjoying the NBA playoffs. Really excited to see baseball back, and just really enjoying the fact that spring's come around, and we get to see what's arguably the best part of the sports landscape: the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, and Major League Baseball, and give some love to Major League Soccer, all starting up. So it's definitely a fun time of the sports calendar for me.
No doubt. I actually would have to say this is probably the best time of year. March through June, like the best time for all sports because we
Yeah,
have March Madness, then we have the NHL playoffs, the NBA playoffs, then the draft, and you know, uh, the lottery getting picked out as
yep,
well too. Like so much is happening. It's
yeah.
ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, it's tough to follow. But we try our best.
Oh, absolutely, and we'll definitely gonna keep on trying, ladies and gentlemen. We at Debates Among Friends, myself, Doc Ocean, and Señor October. But for my final thoughts, I'm gonna give a shout out to E League, who's been playing
There you
out
go.
on TBS the past couple of weeks, showing some Street Fighter 5. They have an invitational tournament, but the thing that I want to highlight today for you, ladies and gentlemen, is on Friday. This Friday, there will be a celebrity showdown for Street Fighter 5 at the E League on
Oh
TBS,
man.
which will
Oh
feature
man.
Hall of Fame basketball player Shaquille O'Neal, Grammy-winning recording artist and fighter game enthusiast Lupe Fiasco, Super Bowl champion Reggie Bush, and former pro wrestling star, now model, Natalie Eva Marie, as they will compete
Oof.
against each other in a tournament style for charity.
This sounds like all sorts of fun.
If you're not much of a fan of regular E League and you just like any of these people, or if you want to see celebrities flail at each other on controllers for about an hour, definitely tune in. I'm definitely going to be watching it. Definitely be on Twitter, just giving my thoughts about it. But I just love the fact that E-League, esports, the FGC community is just still growing and growing and growing. And I've been saying this for 3 years. We're only going to get stronger and better and better. And I'll be out there in Vegas in the next couple of weeks, actually, attending the Evolution Tournament, which is one of the biggest tournaments of the year. So, it's going to be great. So, if you have nothing to do on Friday, and perhaps it might actually show in your local bars as well too, so don't tell them to turn it off. Yeah, I'm looking at you, buddy. Turn it in. Just give it a quick look, and if anything else, you get to see these celebrities just playing some video games.
Yeah, just like you and me.
Hey,
Again, just showing how regular they are. They bite their controllers, storm across the room, maybe throw a pizza at somebody's face.
I
It's
mean, you don't see a lot of rage quits anymore, at least when it's televised. But I mean, if you catch YouTube, you can see some of the assault that happens. I think I mentioned that a lot
extra
to the
stuff.
doctor, but like, I'll do this off the podcast in your October. I will send you some salt moments that will make you pee your pants in laughter. It is
Oh,
too
please,
funny.
I'll make sure I'm wearing my pull-ups then. But yeah,
Oh
please do.
gosh. But we're gonna leave you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, with a track from Grind Mode, Cypher, Southern Savagery, Volume 1, featuring Lingo, Extra Overdose, Stitchy C, uh, New Jersey's own Johnny Danger, or J Cell, and D Gas. I put the links for all of their different social medias and stuff in the description of this video. Thank you very much for tuning in on this Wednesday evening. Once again, be sure to catch us every Wednesday, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. We're also on iTunes. We're also on SoundCloud and any other podcast app that you have. Be sure to like this video, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and if you hit the bell, you will be notified whenever we go live or post out a new content. Ah, that was one
Yes.
breath.
Please hit
But,
subscribe. Please, please.
I mean,
We
we're
do.
only going to get better.
Yeah, only.
But be sure to catch us next time, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Professor John Gotti.
And I am Senor October.
Uh, pitch it in for Doc Ocean, who will be back next week, and will be sure to catch you again, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, peace and love.
Grind Mode Cypher, Spartanburg, what up? Hey yo, it's Grind Mode, coming to a city near you. Expand the planet, panoramic eye, picture the view. Pull a 180, spin around, split into two. Fuck a 360 gear, that's divisible too. Ooh, double down, get bucked for another round. If I draw, I'm putting cars on all of your fucking clowns. Casino, better than gambling against lingo. Stay on, going for broke the way I sling dough. Cast the wide net, master the rhymes mixed with messages masked in the masses of my text. The masses mindset shift with a keystroke, and we know it's all downhill from there. Ski slope, I got the key, party like I'm the king of kings. Y'all just fuck around, trying to get in the swing of things. But Lingo bring the keys to get mingling, baby, here to catch your attention. Hear the jingling,
straight up out of Arkham. Goddamn, a marked man, maniac depressing, how to leave a man with Parkinson's in the hood. There, you with a gun in his hand, not a one-man band. Crime on understand on the way to the motherland, get in our way, get body slammed. Don't know, oh no, here we go again. Blood stains when it rains outside, another done died, a mother done cried. The SLOI, you get no reply. Screw it, loans, me and mines, get a piece of the pie. Overdose, that's my demise. Third sight for that single world, look how time flies. You South Carolina has a motherfucking alibi. Cause I done been on a killing spree through every state just to give you music to appreciate. Said it's grind mode and no breaks. Why you think we grind in the first place? Spin consistent, magnificent lyrics can fuck with my pivot. Other words, I'm nothing to fuck with shit. I figure you get it by now. And if not fucking shit, it's more important shit to do. Like moving my bowels, nasty as it sound. Put the pin in the pad, tell them I'm mad. Tell my mom and dad I let my pants sag. No, not for fags, before the whole world to kiss my ass.
Yo, I heard they saying that I'm back facts, and I ain't say I'm back facts. In fact, I give facts back if they facts wag. Got the backpack, ounce of weed in a pack, get in case they act bad. It's grind mode, I bleed it, breathe it, and eat it. These rappers they so entitled, but I don't see to believe it. Believe it or not, believing is truly all what you're seeing. If you see me still leading the pack, just know that I'm breathing. You don't want that, tell these rappers to stop that. Facebook, it ain't the wing, somebody come bring the bars back. Motors always running 1 miles, believe in small tracks. All that was more crack than 10 bets to floor match. Whoa, Lingo, what's off with the heads? It's been a minute since I killed it back like I never left. Bringing the death, you want a battle, step to the best. I rip your heart out of your chest and lay him down with the rest. It's grind mode.
It's Mr. Fuck the World, let it burn. It's Mr. Neon, high as a Klingon up in the universe. I'm on my grind mode, I'm getting shine, no. From the Queen City where the silent killers roll. Been the man for a minute, but they still hate. They don't know what to do with somebody this great. I'll blow a national act right off of any stage. Ripping bong hits and blowjobs every day. I'm from the South, born and raised, check the etiquette. Puffing on a split of purple haze, I ain't passing it. Some would say that I'm a stoner rapper, I'm deflecting it. Cause I can do it all on the mic, you got me laughing, kid. I'm the guy in the Pornhub jacket. Step into the venue, puffing black magic. Blowing straight fire like a seaside dragon. Time of death 403, get off my dick, man.
Listen to that boom bap, kicking back the true facts. Ripping up these new cats, nigga with the cool raps. Who that? Who you? You don't know what to do. You trash, get your bag, I take your dumb ass to school. New school or old school, I'm old school, I flow through. Feel real, roll you like shorty about to blow you. Hold you, to go with balls that you got no flow to. Sorry kid, I'm an arsonist, I spit and destroy you. Real niggas caught that, little niggas fall back. Got so many raps that'll pull back your skull cap. Skills what you all lack, yo, where your balls at? Got no shot to handle the rocks, so get my fucking ball back. More than a bag of chips, now believe it, stab your wrist. All the people vanishing, I'm a genius with the bandage with. I'm a game changer, flowing and sandwich. Known as Johnny Danger, but I used to go as hazardous.
A lot of rappers need to know they place in the top mine. It's appearing, you want the belt, take a beat and stop crying. I will never stop trying, because what of me, I've been planted in the mud, but now I'm growing since I got shine. Self-appointed Grimo general, nigga low stat. But it's like Grimo rude, where the hell Lowe's at? Where's K&S at? Where's Marshall at? Y'all niggas are dope and a big deal, no phone tap. The OG's OD for real, but niggas got it backwards if they think Lingo ain't an OG and ill. The other generals too used to roll deep with skill, now they chasing bread. I mean even Nicky was meat for meals. I